Well, hello there. I'll assume that if you're watching this video, then like me, you really like Swiss Army knives, all the function and utility they offer, that Swiss precision in really reasonably priced packages. And for this video, I wanted to look at what would be my top 5 Swiss Army knives. This has been really a difficult decision because there are dozens and dozens of different models, but if I could only have 5, which ones would they be? And it'd be great to get your thoughts on this. What would you choose? Are my decisions and choices glaringly silly and just wrong? So let's just have a look at what would be my top 5 Swiss Army knives. I think in position number 5, for me, it has to be the Victorinox Swiss Champ, because this is kind of the most fully featured, that's practicably manageable Swiss Army knife that you can get. This is just so packed full of utility that if I was, say, going off somewhere with no other tools available, then yes, I would be taking this one. You just get so many tools on this knife. Corkscrew, the little pin, eyeglasses screwdriver in there, then you get this little sharp chisel, this sort of dolphin shaped little slotted screwdriver. Never used that really. The multi-purpose hook, the awl reamer with a sewing eye, tweezers, toothpick, got plus scales on this one, so we've also got the pressurized pen. Then on the front side you've got the main blade, secondary smaller blade, this really decent file with like the metal saw on the bottom there as well, and this angle tip which can be dead useful. The fish scaler, a lot of people really slag this tool off. I mean, you could use it for scaling fish, that would be really gross though and mank up your knife. Fish hook disgorger there, but this can be dead useful. You've got a measuring scale on there, only tiny, but can be dead useful for measuring nuts, bolts, washers, things like that. You've got a straight edge and you've got a very long prodding tool with a forked end. There's a fair good few uses for the fish scaler, aside from scaling fish. I think the brilliant Victorinox wood saw, the amazing large Victorinox scissors, the best on any multi-tool, bar none in my personal opinion. The small pliers, I find these really useful for small tasks. They're just brilliant for little bits of electronics, you know, wiring, soldering, grabbing really small, hard to reach things. These have saved the day for me on numerous occasions, and I think they're really good. A completely different kettle of fish to the large pliers on multi-tools or the Knipex or anything, but these can come in so useful for small tasks. Get the magnifying glass. This can come in useful at times. A lot of folks with failing eyesight swear by this. I don't personally think it's essential for EDC, but that tool always comes opposite this fantastic full 3D Phillips screwdriver that you get on the Swiss Champ. This is a wonderful tool, really effective. Excellent. And you get the can opener with a small slotted screwdriver which works great on Phillips screws. I've put a little magnet in there, look. And the bottle opener with a wire stripper and large slotted screwdriver. This is a nice sturdy thick tool, great for obviously doing flathead screws, scraper, light duty pry bar, dead useful tool, really like it. So that's just a megaton of tools in this still really compact little package. I do find this a bit big for EDC. For me personally, if I'm just in my civvy clothes, then I'm not having this sloshing around in my pocket, and I don't want to be wearing it on a belt pouch or anything if I'm just out and about. But yeah, no doubt a great fully featured superb tool to cover you for a ton of different situations and eventualities. Great stuff. And I think it'd be a bit silly to not have this in my top 5 Swiss Army knives because it's awesome. In my number 4 slot, I think I'd have to choose the Huntsman. This is a really great outdoors knife, and if I'm going out to the woods or camping or something like that, mucking about in nature, then I think this is an excellent choice. Far fewer tools in the Swiss Champ, but you get the small blade, the large blade, the opener layer tools, the hook, the awl. This can be really useful for outdoors things, and it makes an excellent ferro rod striker as well. And the bottle opener, pin, again plus scale, so pen, toothpick, tweezers. And you do get the scissors and you do get the saw. These are so capable for the size, really good for small wood preparation and stuff. I don't really do a lot of bushcrafting type stuff these days, but if I'm out and about mucking about with the kids or need to make something with them, it's great. This just has a load of really useful tools for outdoor, for processing wood and things like that. Dead versatile, dead useful, and it's still nice and small and compact. 4-layer Victorinox. For this video, it was a toss-up for me between the Huntsman and the Camper. Camper has all the same tools tools, apart from the multi-purpose hook, which I'm not too fussed about, and it doesn't have the scissors, but you're getting a slightly slimmer knife. This is a 3-layer model, so it carries a bit easier in the pocket and is a little bit lighter. Do you really need the scissors when you're out in nature? You've still got those 2 blades on there. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I do tend to reach for this one because you might as well have the scissors as well, haven't you? Love the Camper. Had this one for years. But yeah, out of these two, I'll choose the Huntsman. Those couple of extra tools it's got. Great knife. My number 3 slot, I'm going for the Pioneer. This is a knife recently I've been reaching for and having with me if I'm doing harder work. I've been doing some renovations and things, a bit of DIY. So previously I was using a Tinker, just a standard Tinker, because it's dirt cheap and got really useful tools. Nothing superfluous if I'm doing some DIY, but then Pioneer is just bigger, tougher, stronger, more durable. The main blade is longer, wider and thicker than on the 91mm standard Solidor models, so it will stand up to a bit more harder use. Similarly, the opener layer tools are slightly beefier on this Alox Pioneer than they are on the standard 91mm models. The cap lifter screwdriver tool is just beefier, bigger, thicker, so will stand up to more abuse. Great as a little light duty prying tool, taking your paint can lids off and stuff like that. Excellent tool. Can opener side, they do look the same, but the one on the Pioneer is ever so slightly beefier. This little screwdriver tip here is absolutely fine for a light duty Phillips driver. Because if it's inline nature, it's much better to use than this backside Phillips that you get on the likes of the Tinker, which I don't really like. It's just dead awkward to use. It's prone to slippage. Great driver and a great shape, but I just don't find it that practical in the real world. This is fine as a Phillips driver. For light stuff, again, if I'm doing hard work, I'll probably have access to a proper screwdriver. But for little quick fixes, absolutely fine as a Phillips. And the only other tool you get on the Pioneer is this fantastic all reamer. Again, inline. This is just so useful at times for making little holes, pilot holes, stuff like that. Really stout scraping type blade. Excellent inline tool, and that's all you get on the Pioneer. But it's great if I'm doing DIY tasks and stuff. This has got all I need. I don't need a tweezers and toothpick. Extremely durable. Just a great tool for if you are doing a bit of harder work. This 2-layer format is still nice and slim, fits in the hand nicely. Great stuff. In my number 2 position, I've gone for the Sportsman. Absolutely love the Sportsman. I think it's such an underappreciated model. It's fantastic. I've got several of them. And this is just a 2-layer knife, and it's the 84mm format. So a bit smaller than the normal 91mm models. And I really do like this size. It's just diddy, fits in your hand and pocket, disappears until you need it, but it's still packed with a ton of they're genuinely useful tools. You get the main blade, plenty enough for EDC type tasks. You get the separate opener layer, which I really do like, versus the combo tool that you get on a few models like the Compact. And this obviously aims to combine all the functions of these two into one to save space and everything, but it's just flimsy. It's okay for extremely light duty tasks, and it's certainly better than nothing, but these two tools are much more durable and usable in the real world. So I really like that it's got these 2 separate tools. Cans, yeah, most cans have ring pulls, but not all of the cans I use do, so it's nice to have a backup can opener. Like I say, these decent screwdrivers on here, bottle opener, sturdy, pryy, pokey, scrapey tool. These 2 tools are good and dead useful. On the backside you get the useful awl, corkscrew. Again, these have got plus scales on them, so toothpick, tweezers and pen. And the other tool that you get is this file tool, which I really like, and I'd much rather in an EDC knife have this file tool than a secondary small blade. I've already got my main blade there. Look, this is useful as a file. It's a really effective file, useful for filing any softer materials. Also an excellent ferro rod striker should you need that. And this sort of nail cleaner tip is great as a little proddy pokey tool, and also works really well on small Phillips screws as well. So that's dead useful. Much more so for me than a secondary small blade on an already small pocket knife. So I love the Sportsman, so small and light, but genuinely full of utility. I do also absolutely love the Alox or Alox Cadet, which has all the same front tools, but the Cadet doesn't have any of the backside tools, doesn't have any of the scale tools. And I ummed and ahed about this one. It's so small and light and dead durable, isn't it? But this is still small and light, and it's really hard for me to justify and to argue against the extra functionality that you get with the Sportsman, with the scale tools and the backside tools. So yeah, the Sportsman's just ace. It doesn't have the scissors, and I know for a lot of people, Swiss Army knives without scissors are a total no-go. I don't really fall into that camp. The scissors are great on Swiss Army knives, and they are really nice to have, safer than using the blade all the time, dead useful. But I've got a sharp blade there. I'm EDCing this in urban settings around town and stuff like that, then yeah, the scissors aren't absolutely 100% essential for me. I'd rather take these other tools, and I can get by without a pair of scissors. I'm not going to mess the bed about not having a pair of scissors on me. This is easily one of my most carried models. Absolutely love it. Sportsman, great stuff. In my number one spot is the Manager. This model was discontinued a couple of years ago by Victorinox, which I just think is an absolute tragedy, because I think this is the perfect keychain urban tool, and the Manager is a knife I've easily carried more than any other over the many years I've had Swiss Army knives. You're not going to be clearing undergrowth, skinning a deer or building a shelter with this tool, ideally. For small everyday tasks, the type of stuff the majority of us will come off on the daily. If you're an urban dweller, then this is just about as perfect a keychain tool as there is, in my opinion. This one's dead old. I've had it for donkey's years and I've kind of retired it now, but I've got it out for this video. Love the green scales. They're as rare as hen's teeth to get hold of nowadays. But in terms of tools, you get this tiny blade, 33mm long. It's perfectly enough for your urban EDC tasks, opening packaging, food packets, parcels, stuff like that. Absolutely fine. The really small slotted screwdriver with this file on there, that's pretty useful. You do get this smaller pair of scissors on the Manager, which are great, absolutely great for cutting your nails, cutting off loose threads, cutting labels out your kids' clothes, all that kind of stuff. In terms of the small scissors, these the larger scissors, well, never once, not once ever, have I opened this small pair of scissors and gone, oh God, I wish I had the big 91mm scissors. Never, not once. These are perfectly adequate, really good, fine, precise little scissors. And then there's this fabulous little combo tool, one of Victorinox's best ever tools, I think. Bottle opener, wire stripper, and the wonderful full 3D Phillips driver. This fits such a wide range of Phillips screws, and as an EDC little tool, a Phillips screwdriver is really important to have for me. And for anyone that's got kids, this is just a indispensable, essential for opening battery compartments and stuff like that. A wonderful tool. One slot for a tool on the scales, either the tweezers or the toothpick, and then on the other side you get a little pressurized ballpoint pen. Fold the handle out there you go. Easily changeable, pressurized, so we'll write upside down, underwater or in outer space, over kind of greasy paper. Will still work in extremes of temperature. Wonderful stuff. So handy to have a little pen on you sometimes, I think. And I've got quite a lot of Managers. I've got a few others as well stashed away. So good. Not dead heavy duty, is it, this one? And you might think I'm crazy for saying the Manager's my number one knife, but it is. In the real urban world, one of these has been all I've needed, kind of 90% of the time. Absolutely wonderful. Discontinued, but you can still get the Rambler, which is exactly the same, but without the pen scale. So that's it. They're my top 5. What do you reckon to that? I haven't had the compact in there, and I know for so many people this is their number one choice, kind of for EDC. You just get the main blade, great large scissors, corkscrew, hook with the file on it, toothpick, pen, tweezers, the little pin. Do get the eyeglasses screwdriver included with the compact, and then the little combo tool. And really it's the combo tool that frustrates me about the compact. Briefly discussed it before, but it's a fantastic idea in theory, but just not that great in practice. Certainly better than nothing, and giving a ton more utility than just having a pocket knife on you. But the thing that really drives me mad and stops me rating and carrying the compact really is the almost complete lack of any way of driving Phillips screws. I know you can angle this and get it in there, but it's just dire for Phillips, and I come across Phillips screws all the time. It's a nice, slim and light knife, but yeah, it hasn't made my top 5. If I could only keep 5, this one just doesn't cut it for me. Although I do appreciate why people love it. So I'd be interested to hear your feedback, guys, and your thoughts on this. What would be your top 5? Thanks very much for watching, and I hope that's been a bit of fun for some of you out there. Thank you. Hope to see you soon in the next one, next week. Adios.